Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be talking about the beauty products that I repurchase over and over again. I'm not talking about the things that I bought just one or two times. These are the things that I pretty much use every single day, and I've been using many of these for many years. Kind of my must-have beauty list. You'll probably see a theme here. Number one, there's not a lot of makeup products. I do have a few, but most of these are hair care, body care, skin care items. And you'll also notice that a lot of these are very affordable because the things that I keep buying over and over again are usually the things that I find that work really well for me that aren't going to break the bank. This is kind of like an empties video, except these aren't currently empty right now. You'll have seen some of these in my empties videos before, but I do have a couple things I don't know that I've mentioned before. So we will get right into it. But before we do that, if you are a new visitor here, welcome. Please consider subscribing to my channel and make sure that your notifications are turned on. With that said, let's jump right into it. Okay, so I got this nice basket full of things and then a lot of things kind of spread out here around my desk. Why don't we start with a few makeup products? The first one is going to be the most obvious. If you've been with me for any amount of time, you'll have known that I was going to talk about this. This is the Wet n Wild Simma Brown Now eyeliner. I almost forgot to mention this because I talk about it so often. I forget that this is like my third appendage. Does that make sense? Third appendage. Is your appendage your arm or is it like your leg as well? I do have two legs in case I got that wrong. That's embarrassing. Anyways, I have bought this so many times. This is my last unopened package. I actually have three that are kind of varying sizes sitting right here. I have them scattered throughout my house and my car, my travel makeup bags. They're all over the place. There's nothing to me quite as amazing as opening up a brand new Wet n Wild eyeliner. I love this eyeliner. So easy to use, perfect amount of pigmentation. It's not long wearing, but it wears really well. I don't find it to wear off by the end of the day, but it doesn't like run. You know how some eyeliners can be so rich or pigmented or very gel-like that they kind of just move around. By the end of the day, you either have like smudgy under eyes or you get those little like black goobers in the corner of your eye when your eyeliner is just too intense. This is a little bit of a softer eyeliner. I love the deep brown color. It gives really nice definition in your corner. I'm wearing it on my eyes today. I'm always wearing this eyeliner almost. It's just so easy to work with. I absolutely love this liner and it's 99 cents, which is the most important thing. Also, this right here, this is my fourth bottle of the, fourth or fifth. Oh, I don't really know at this point. This has been with me for a while. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear in 425 Linen. Love this foundation. This one, I feel like I just bought this. I'm already down to the bottom. I rarely wear this on its own though, but I use it as a mix-in to almost all of my other foundations that I love. If it's something more high-end, I feel like mixing a little bit of a drugstore foundation that's a good shade for me kind of helps extend the life of my higher end foundations. Plus this foundation is super budge proof. If it is hot outside or if you have oily skin, if you tend to kind of like sweat off your foundation or you're going to be in a situation where that's going to happen, this stuff is very budge proof. It's definitely my most long wearing foundation. So in very rare instances where I'm like at an amusement park in the summer, I would wear this on its own. But other than that, I just love it as a mix-in and to kind of extend the life of other foundations and help them to last a little bit longer. It's fantastic. I also had to mention these. These are from Eyelure, the only lashes I ever wear. There was a minute, it literally was like a couple of months, that I talked about a pair of eyelashes I actually found them at a Marshall's and then I couldn't find them in store anymore. They were also from Eyelure, but they were Eyelure and oh gosh, I can't even remember. It was these ones right here, the Eyelure and Emma Willis lashes, but I can't find these anymore. Occasionally I will find them on Amazon, but they're like $13. I do love these corner lashes as well, but I have found an affordable, easy to find online at Ulta option, and it's the Eyelure 3/4 length number 003 lashes. These are so good. They're very lightweight. The band is almost, it's basically invisible. They're very easy to use, and because they don't go all the way to your inner corner. So sometimes I will trim these actually. I'll trim the inner, I trim from the inner corner. I'll take like 2 clusters off just so they come to the center, like to the center of my eye. It just makes them even more comfortable. If you are super sensitive to lashes feeling heavy on your eyes at all, that will help quite a bit and still give your eyes kind of the lift. The ones I'm wearing on my eyes today are just the full length and they come to about right here on my eye, but they are so comfortable. They're much easier to apply because they're a little bit shorter and they're just so pretty. They're just right. They give you just a little bit of extra kind of lift and kind of that cat eye effect, but it's not too dramatic or too intense. If you are into more natural makeup, but on occasion you'd like to do something to kind of jazz up your eyes a little bit, or if you just have naturally very short lashes that you'd like to kind of elevate a bit without doing anything too intense or dramatic, I highly recommend these. They are the only lashes I think I will ever wear when I wear lashes, which is not all the time, but these are the only ones that I now reach for. They're also very affordable. I think they're $4.99 or $5.99 when they're not on sale. Occasionally you can find them for like $3.49. They are incredible. I think I've bought like 8 boxes over the years. And by the way, you can wear these. I probably get like 6 or 7 wears out of these before they get too gummy or kind of start to look a little bit weird or kind of fall apart. Next up is a beauty sponge. I just get these ones from Wet n Wild. I've kind of settled on these. I've tried a lot of different ones out over the years. Honestly, I'm not super picky about my sponges as long as they wash up well. I can't stand the ones that when I wash them one time, they get the little like tears in them. These are very sturdy, but because they're sponges, I still like to replace them pretty often. So these are super affordable. You can buy them in a 2-pack for, I want to say, about $5 or $6, maybe even cheaper than that. I really just like this original shape. I tend to just go back to these ones, whether I'm using it for concealer or just to kind of blend out my foundation. What I've been using them the most for lately, not so much to apply my foundation, but once I put my foundation on with a brush, I'll kind of go around the edges with these just to blend out the edges around my brows or around my hairline or any areas that tend to kind of gather or settle into the fine lines like on my forehead. And I do still use them quite often with concealer when I'm not using a brush. Okay, one more thing that I repurchase all the time, or kind of like these two things together. First off are the Whispers Premium Rounds. Don't buy the store brand. I am a great advocate of buying the store brand when it will save you a little bit of money if it works, but the store brand is never as good as these original ones. The store brand ones, like the cotton, kind of falls apart and gets kind of like linty on your face. These are so good. They're kind of like sealed up around the edges. They work so well whether you're removing your mascara with like an eye makeup remover or when I'm removing swatches. I actually use these the most for that. In fact, I was thinking, should I even mention these? Because if I didn't do YouTube, would I still use these? Not as often, but I do think I would still use them on occasion. Also, this is the Garnier Micellar Water with the waterproof in it. I actually have tried this one as well. This is the vitamin C one. It does not remove makeup as well as this one does. And honestly, whether it's waterproof or not, this just removes things so much better. But it does kind of have that very slightly oily feeling. If you've ever used that type of a makeup remover like the Neutrogena one, it kind of has that feel to it, but it works great. These I also use quite often if I'm doing like a glittery lid topper on my eyes and I have already done my foundation, which I always do. I do my eyes last. I know some people don't do that, but I just can't break that habit. It's too uncomfortable for me. So I will just put these under my eye to kind of catch any fallout. I mean, there's so many uses for these. You always need a good cotton product, and I like the rounds. I just think they're more multi-purpose than like a cotton ball or the squares. Okay, now we're gonna move over to all the hair, body, and skincare products. First, let's start with body care. I think I talked about this prior to Christmas time. I've talked about it a few times. This is the Pacifica Wake Up Beautiful Retinoid Body Lotion. I don't use this as a body lotion. Originally, this was actually sent to me by Pacifica, and I have now repurchased it many times. I bought like 3 more during Christmas time and gave a few of them away as gifts. This is the best hand lotion ever. If you have very dry hands, but you can't stand hand lotions that either leave an oily or sticky feeling to your hands, this is basically like it's like a facial serum for your hands. It is so hydrating. It sinks right in. It doesn't leave any sort of residue or stickiness. It just leaves your hands feeling silky and amazing. Now, I think you can buy this at Target online. I think you can buy it online at Ulta, and I've also seen it online on Amazon. I will link a couple of those places down below for you guys. I highly recommend this. I have a few of these, one in my car, one in my church bag, one down here at my desk. I use it all the time. Let's go over a few skincare items. These are the things that I have been using for years, and they're part of my routine. Occasionally I'll try out different skincare, but I am not a skincare junkie. I am kind of the belief that skincare, as long as you take care of your skin, use SPF, I don't know that there's much more that's going to drastically change your skin. I know some people would strongly disagree with me, but I just kind of keep it pretty basic and simple. Plus, there's only so many things you can spend lots of money on, right? So these are the basic products that I keep repurchasing over and over again, starting with the CeraVe Daily Moisturizing Lotion. For about 10 years I was into the Cetaphil moisturizer, and then I transferred over to this one. I like this one a lot more. It's not quite, the Cetaphil one can feel a little bit greasy on my skin, and I do have very, very dry skin. This one is plenty moisturizing for me, but it settles into my skin a little bit better. I love it underneath makeup. It just is such a great basic moisturizer. My husband even uses this one. Sometimes I'll even use it on my hands if I'm just like don't have anything else to use. It is a little expensive, but I mean, it's not as expensive as some moisturizers out there. You can get the store version one, but I do feel like the store brand version is a little bit more watery and not quite as nourishing as this one. But if you're on a tight budget, that one definitely is decent. This is just the one I repurchase the most. Another skincare item I repurchase all the time is a rosehip seed oil. This is just an organic rosehip oil. I've tried a few different brands. This one, I think I've repurchased this brand. I've repurchased about 3 times now. I love rosehip oil on my skin. Now, the way that I like to use rosehip oil is as kind of like a final barrier to kind of lock all my moisturizers and serums in. I don't know why I do it that way. There's probably a video I watched at some point and I started doing it, and now it's just kind of a habit, but it works really well for my dry skin. So basically I'll wash my face. I sometimes will do some sort of toner or like a vitamin C pad or something like that. Then if it's morning, I will put a vitamin C serum on. Then I put my moisturizer on. Usually wait a little bit of time in between each of these steps to let everything kind of sink in. And then after another minute or two, I will put just a little pump of the rosehip oil and cover my face with it, my neck, the back of my hands. And then I'll let that sink in for a little bit, and then I'll go in with my SPF on top of that. Again, I have very dry skin. For those of you that are more oily skinned, I don't know how well adding an oil to your skin before your morning routine is going to work for your skin type. Probably not going to work for everyone, but I do love rosehip oil. I just think it soaks into the skin really nicely, and then it doesn't leave your skin feeling oily afterwards. It's affordable. You can find this pretty much anywhere. I mean, you can find this even like at a Marshall's or a TJ Maxx. I love it. I've been using it for about 5 or 6 years now as part of my routine, and I will continue to use it for, I don't know, until something changes. Okay, and last is a sunscreen. So this is the sunscreen I've kind of settled on as far as like a drugstore sunscreen goes. There was a minute there where I thought about trying out some Korean brand sunscreens. Then I decided I'm perfectly happy with my affordable sunscreen, so why change it? This is the one I love. It's the Coppertone Sport Mineral SPF 50. This one works really well for me. I like a zinc sunscreen because I feel like it sits better underneath makeup. It doesn't get that kind of, that really greasy texture that more chemical sunscreens can give me. But some zinc sunscreens can be a little bit too thick and too white casty. This one does have an initial white cast, but it sinks in really quickly, and then you're not left with any cast once it's kind of settled in. It wears great underneath of makeup. I've never had any sort of peeling or anything like that putting foundations on top of this. It just is my go-to, and you can get a nice big bottle. This is like a 5-ounce bottle for, I'm gonna say like 10 bucks or something at the drugstore. Okay, now I have technically this is a skincare product, but I actually use it as like a body exfoliator. This is just the Equate Beauty Medicated Apricot Cleanser. So this has salicylic acid in it. If you get the little like clogged pore bumps on like the back of your arms or on the top of your legs, this really helps to kind of keep that at bay. I just use this on kind of like a bath glove or a little like a bath sponge. What are those things called? The like puffy sponge things. Or sometimes I'll just use it with my hands, just kind of any areas that I feel some texture on my skin. This really helps to clear them up. I actually don't use it on my face. I think it's a little bit harsh for my face, but it works really well. If you deal with that on your skin, you don't want to spend a fortune on some sort of lotion or body care item to take care of it. This stuff is like $3 or $4 and it does a really good job with that. Okay, a couple more body items. This right here is from Palmer's. I've been using this for the last like 6 years, I think. It is the Heel Soften. It's almost like butter. This is actually a brand new one I just picked up, and they make a larger tub of it now, which I was grateful to see. So I basically will just take a little bit of this on my hand and then I'll rub it in between my hands. It kind of turns to more of like an oil, kind of like a Vaseline sort of. But I use this on any areas that get super chapped and crusty. My knees, my elbows, sometimes like right here where self-tanner, which we'll talk about in a minute here, tends to stick. It also is a good place to put on any of those areas that if you use self tanner, is going to like give you issues. So I'll put it on my wrists, I put it on my ankles, my knees, my elbows, anywhere that needs a little extra hydration. I put it on my feet as well. It's very greasy, but it does sink in pretty well if you don't mind waiting a little bit for that to happen. It smells really nice. If you have really rough, chapped, kind of calloused heels or knees or elbows, that's a great affordable product to use. And speaking of self tanner, I've talked before about my, I guess, love-hate relationship with self tanner. Basically, once I've started self tanning, I can't totally stop. But I have found one self tanner in particular that I will continue to repurchase. I think I've bought like 8 bottles of this, which is kind of embarrassing. Maybe more. Honestly, it's probably more than that. But 8 sounds nicer to me, so let's just say 8. This is from the brand Be Tan. This is their Just Act Natural self tanner. So I buy this on Amazon. Initially, I bought it, I think, at a Walmart, but now I just buy it on Amazon. It's about $10 a bottle, and a bottle will last me about 6 months. I put this on about once a week. It's basically a tanning water, and this is the type of self tanner that I prefer now. I do not like the tinted self tanners anymore because they stain your clothing or your underwear horribly. Your sheets, if you use white sheets, you will get all kinds of stains on them if you use a tinted tanner. A tanning water is much more friendly to your clothing. Now you will over time still get some staining on like your bra strap, or occasionally I'll get some marks on like my sheets, maybe if I've had like, I don't know, like a hot flash at night. Probably not a hot flash, if I just get a little hot at night. But it's much better and it does wash out. Now the only tricky thing with a tanning water is that you can't see where you're applying it. Now this tanner is not gonna be quite as intense as a tinted self tanner, so things don't go horribly wrong, but you do have to be careful and kind of mentally take note of like where you're applying it, staying away from certain areas, making sure that you rub it in sufficiently, because you can't really see where the product actually is going to sit and kind of cure. But it does give you a nice glow that's much more than like a Jergens glow would give you, or like this, which we'll also talk about in a minute, which just gives you a very subtle, extremely subtle bit of glow or tan. This is definitely more of a tanner, like it'll actually make you a shade or two darker, but it's not super intense. It just helps you to feel a little bit more suntanned and bronzed if you have fair skin, especially in the wintertime. You still have to be careful with this around your ankles, around your knees, those areas that self tanner tends to just look horribly bad if you get it wrong. You have to be a little careful in those areas, which is one of the reasons I like using something like this. It helps to kind of like keep it from soaking into those parts, but I love it. Again, I've bought this so many times. You do have to apply it with a glove, by the way. Don't apply it with your hands. Your hands will get horribly stained over time. But for 10 bucks, that's a pretty good price for a good self-tanning water. They're kind of hard to find, especially ones that work and give a good color, and this one is just right. However, I do have one that I like more than that one, but it's so expensive that I can't bring myself to repurchase this one very often. This is from Tan Luxe. This is the Hydra Mousse Self Tan Mousse. I found this one at Marshall's initially. This is also a self-tanning water. It gives a little bit darker of a tan and a little bit more beautiful of a tan, but it's so expensive. I think this was like $49 last time I checked on Amazon. But if you don't mind spending a pretty penny on a self tanner, or maybe you're going on vacation or something, you just want one bottle of really good self tanner, this one is gorgeous. It is so pretty. It looks so natural as long as you don't screw it up around your ankles and your knees and your elbows. It has the best color and it wears so well. By the way, that's one thing I love about the tanning waters. I feel like they fade a little bit more gracefully. Anyways, if you're on a budget and you want a good self tanning water, this is the one I'd recommend. If you don't mind spending more, this one is definitely superior. It's just so expensive, but I probably will buy it again next time I go on vacation. I did miss one skincare item, although this is one I haven't been using as much lately, but I've repurchased it many, many times over the years. This is the Acne Free Terminator 10 Benzoyl Peroxide Cream. This is the only cream that works when I have an acne spot. Now, gratefully, I do not deal with breakouts very often anymore unless I'm trying out to make a product that is obviously not working well with my skin. The main reason for that is that I'm getting old, so don't be too excited for me that I don't deal with those breakouts anymore. I have other issues that I'm dealing with, but for a very long time, when I was younger, I had some times where I had pretty bad breakouts that I get quite regularly, and then they just kind of were more of an annoyance that would pop up here and there. But my skin never got along with salicylic acid. It never helped with my breakouts, but benzoyl peroxide was the only thing that would actually fix my breakouts or kind of heal them. And to this day, anytime I start to feel something kind of like maybe brewing under the surface, I put this on. Just, you have to be very strategic with where you put this because it will dry your skin out pretty severely. But if you can just target where you need it and don't touch the spot, it will help heal your breakouts and often even keep them from coming to the surface. At least it has for me. I actually have one down here that's like used. I've probably bought 10 of these, and now I even like buy them for my kids as well. It's a great product if you use it right. By the way, if you use this on your skin at night and you don't have white pillowcases, it will stain your pillowcases. So just be aware of that. I would probably buy a white pillowcase if you do have breakouts and you want to use this at night. But it works great and has saved me many times over the last, gosh, this thing I've been using for like 12 years. All right, now we have just a couple of hair products to talk about. First off, let's go with this one right here. This is a conditioner. It says it's a hair mask, but it's not as thick as most hair masks are, but you guys, this might be my favorite conditioner of all time. Now, I occasionally use some very expensive conditioners. I have one that I use from Joico. I have a couple from Olaplex that I like. I just bought some from Oribe, which does work really well, but it's so expensive. I feel like I can never get myself to use enough of it to really do much for me because that stuff is just insanely pricey. Now, I love all my high-end masks and conditioners, but I don't like to use them every day. I like to have something to kind of rotate back and forth to keep my hair from getting used to something and also just to not kill my budget. But this stuff is so good. There are times I think I like this more than my Oribe, more than my Olaplex, more than my Living Proof, my Joico. This is a charcoal with citrus oil hair mask. I don't even know the brand that this comes from. I buy it on Amazon. This makes my hair feel incredible. Now, as I mentioned, it's not as thick as some hair masks as you would think a hair mask is. I don't know if you guys can see it kind of moving. It's more of just like a conditioner, but if you use enough of this product and use it in the right way, it makes your hair feel amazing. So what I like to do is after I've shampooed my hair, I will towel dry most of the moisture out of my hair so there's not too much moisture in there, especially because this one's not quite as thick. And then I'll get a good amount of this. You want to use plenty of this and really work it into the scalp, into the ends of my hair, and then I let it sit there for like 1 to 2 minutes. And then I rinse it off and just do my hair as normal. And every time, I'm telling you, this makes my hair feel amazing. I think that the charcoal in it helps to like detoxify. It does say it's a detoxifying treatment, but I think it helps to get all the residue and grime that builds up on your hair over time off, and it just feels incredible. And it's super affordable. The last time I bought this on Amazon, I probably should go buy a few more because I'm afraid everyone's gonna go buy it now. It'll be out of stock. It's very selfish of me. I'm sorry. The last time I bought it, I think I bought 4 of these. I think they were about $9 or $10 per pot of these, which is a pretty good price. So if you're looking for something affordable for your hair, this is so good. I've been using it for like 6 years now. Another thing I've repurchased a lot, the next 2 items are very curly hair specific, is this mousse from The Dew. They now sell this at my Walmart. Initially, I used to buy this online, I think from Sally Beauty Supply. It's a very tricky to work with mousse though. If you use too much of this, it will feel horrible on your hair. Like it will make your hair feel disgustingly sticky and tacky and dirty. But if you use just a little bit of this, if you have a lot of frizz or a lot of curl to control, I use this when my hair is really soaking wet and just distribute like 3 pumps of this maximum into my hair, and it really helps to control the frizz. I think I'm on my like 6th bottle of mousse. I used to buy the GVP Sally Beauty Supply or Paul Mitchell mousse, but this has kind of replaced that one because I think it does a little better job with the frizz. Doesn't smell quite as good. And then last but not, oh, actually we forgot a lotion. I did kind of briefly mention this one. This is the Malibu Hemp Golden Glow Gradual Tanning Lotion. This might be, of all the things I've talked about today, the thing that I have been using on and off for forever. Honestly, I've been buying this thing for like 15 years. It's really been 15 years. Yes, I used to buy this when we lived in Virginia. We moved back from Virginia in 2011. So it's been so long. I can't believe I've been buying this thing for that long. It's amazing. This is basically, it's like the Jergens Glow if you use the Jergens Glow, but I don't feel like this one has that self-tannery scent that the Jergens one has. This just has a really pleasant kind of tropical scent to it. Almost like banana sort of scent. It's very lovely. Gives you a very subtle glow that's very natural. This is one that you don't have to worry so much about it getting on your elbows or your hands. Over time, it might a little bit start to show on like your palms. But generally speaking, if you just want something to give you a little something extra during the winter time when if you have fair skin and you're at your very fairest, this is what I would recommend. Fantastic. Okay, last item is from the brand Cantu. This is the Define and Shine Custard. I think I've mentioned this in a couple of empties or favorites videos before. This is a very interesting product. It's basically like a hybrid pomade gel. I love this stuff. It smells so good, by the way. This for my hair is like the ultimate frizz cure. Now, the only thing I would caution you, especially if you have curly hair or like wavy hair that you want to control the frizz. So basically what I do is I will completely do my hair and sort of let it air dry most of the way. I do diffuse my hair a little bit, but then I kind of let it finish drying just naturally. And then once it's completely dry, I will dip my fingers into this, which is, I don't want to do it right now because it's such a sticky product, but it basically is like it's kind of goobery. I don't know how to explain this. It's a very interesting texture, but I'll get some on my hands. I'll rub it between my hands, and then I'll get a little bit of water in my hands as well to kind of dilute it. And then I'll just kind of glaze it over the top of my hair where the frizz really starts to creep up. And it will tamp down the frizz. It defines my curls. It does make them look a little bit crunchy sometimes, but once it's dried on my hair, I can kind of like smooth over it, and I'll get the natural texture back and keep the shine that it gives without the frizz. It's just such a great product. I've bought this so many times now. I think this is my like 8th tub of these. I do use quite a bit of this. I use it every single day. It is the best thing that's happened to my curly hair in the last like 20 years. But that, you guys, is everything. Those are the beauty products that I repurchase over and over and over, and sometimes over and over again. I am clearly a creature of habit, especially outside of my makeup. I like being experimental with my makeup products, but when it comes to my hair care, my beauty care, my body care, my skin care, I don't like to experiment that much. Once I find something that works, I kind of just stick with it. And these are basically all of those items. So I hope that you enjoyed this video today. I hope it was helpful for you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe before you leave if you haven't done that yet, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.